Well, it'll be interesting, Kevin, to see the replay and see if Eryk Etienne was offside.
A yard offside, and he is offside. No doubt about that.
Lucho can't get a yellow card here.
This doesn't come back.
It'll be shocking.
Check this. No,
It'll be a riot here at TQL Stadium.
Welcome to Instant Replay presented by Cheez-Its for MLS Week 27. I'm Andrew Wiebe. With me, as always, one Charlie Davies. And Charlie, I'm looking over the weekend here, checking the rundown. I don't think there's anything to talk about. We can probably just go home, man, right?
No chance. Let's go.
And you know exactly where we're going. Hell is real in Cincinnati, and hell is a never-ending referee debate. But we're going to get into this one. We're digging deep. 74th minute, Cincinnati up 1-0. They think they're on the way to a win that would push them above the playoff line. But here's Eryk Etienne scoring from a ball from Cucho. The big question, the question everybody's asking, and everybody seems to be certain about the answer, is whether or not Eryk Etienne is offside on this play. Assistant referee Chris Elliott is in position, and he keeps his flag down on the play. Goal is the call on the field from referee Kevin Stott, and the VAR, Jeff Gamble, of course, checks the play. He doesn't see a clear and obvious error. He doesn't see clear and obvious proof that this is in fact offside and therefore should be reviewed and reversed. So he does not send Stott to the monitor. The goal stands. All hell breaks loose. The game ends 2-2, but Pat Noonan afterwards is none too happy about this call. In fact, Charlie, all of Cincinnati seems to be in an uproar about this call. What do you think of this play? Is it offside, and is there clear and obvious evidence that it should be reviewed and overturned?
In my opinion, it is offside. Now, the flag should have gone up, in my opinion, because Eryk Etienne is leaning in an offside position. The part of his shoulder that is legal, that can legally touch the ball, is in an offside position. So for me, the flag should have gone up and that this goal should not have counted. But if you're talking about clear and obvious evidence to overturn the ruling on the field, I think they had enough. So Wiebe, where do you stand on this call?
Before I give my take, Charlie, I'm going to ask you how you know that he's offside. What about this play tells you that for sure Eryk Etienne is in an offside position when you can't see Nick Hagglund's foot or the position of his heel and therefore correctly judge the offside line? The only person in this situation who can accurately and credibly do so is actually the assistant referee, who, we've established on this show, is also trained to keep the flag down if it is an extreme borderline call and let video review handle in the end, because we want the advantage going to the attacking player. We don't want borderline inch, 2-inch, 3-inch calls resulting in a flag on the field and then not being able to be overturned. So I ask you, how do you know that Etienne is offside?
Because, Andrew Wiebe, I have common sense, and because Nick Hagglund doesn't have go-go gadget legs, I know that he doesn't have an 8-foot leg trailing in behind him. And we also have additional camera angles, which shows me that Nick Hagglund's leg is actually not that far extended behind him. So, for me, this is clear and obvious to overturn this goal and rule it offside. For me, he is leaning. He is clearly behind Nick Hagglund's back leg. I've seen angles. I've seen illusions. We've done all these calls throughout the years. This, for me, is clearly off. I have no doubt.
All right, Charlie, if I have to hear about go-go gadget legs or the Fantastic Four one more time, I'm going to go crazy. Does it look offside? You better believe it does. Was it probably offside by a matter of inches? I agree with you. I think it probably was offside by a matter of inches. Do I have irrefutable proof? No. Here's as close as we could get with the screen grab. Now remember, folks, it's not when you see the ball leaving the foot or when the ball is compressed by the foot. It is the very first moment that the foot on the pass touches the ball that you are judging that offside line. And I have not seen any of the models out there floating around the internet today actually get that moment correct. This is as close as we could get it. Look at Nick Hagglund's foot. Look at his sock. It is dark blue. You can see where it extends. You can logically conclude that at the end of that sock is a foot. That foot is a white cleat. You can't see that white cleat behind Eryk Etienne, so you can conclude that that white foot is somewhere back in that area. Based on that, and where the armpit of Eryk Etienne goes down to the ground, it is very, very close. It ain't no 2 feet, it ain't no 16 inches. It is certainly under a foot and probably in the 0 to 3 inches range if you're saying it's offside. And again, I'm saying I think it probably was. If only we had that camera angle straight down the AR's view, then we could say something more definitive. But sans the EPL offside line, we have to go with the process that has been in place in MLS the entire season. And that is the AR in extreme borderline cases is going to keep the flag down, it's going to go to video review, and unless there's clear and obvious evidence, that goal is going to stand. It's been that way this entire season. We've talked about it over and over and over and over again. This should not be a surprise to anyone. Unless there's going to be the EPL line in MLS, these are the sort of plays that you're going to have to understand and accept. By the way, Cincinnati got the benefit of the doubt on a play very similar to this in terms of offside margins last week when Matt Miazga scored and Jeff Cameron may or may not have been in an offside position. So, while I think it was probably offside, probably ain't cutting it with clear and obvious. This goal, by the process, rightfully stands, even if a lot of people are upset about it.
You know I love goals, but when it's so close and it could go either way, I have no problem with the goal standing. But in this instance, I think we're just above the I can't tell if we're on or off. For me, this is slightly off, but it is off.
Well, if it isn't, camera distortion is only in cases that I want to admit to, Charlie Davies. Nah, man, look, ultimately, I think we both made the point that this is super close, and anybody who thinks they have certainty on this probably is trying to sell you something. Okay, that one's splitting opinions all over MLS. Let's all calm down for just a bit, and Charlie, you and I can focus on a play that we both agree on. Friday night, Portland-Seattle, Cascadia, baby. 40th minute, Eryk Williamson steaming into the box where he meets up with Ymar, and he goes down, and referee Ismail Fath points to the penalty spot. VAR, Jeff Gamble, checks the play. Again, every penalty is being checked, folks, and doesn't recommend a review. Portland scored the PK. They end up winning 2-1 in this match. Charlie, we talk a lot about dives on this show. Are you going to call this one a dive or just embellishment, somewhere in between? I think we just both agree that this should not be a penalty.
This is absolutely not a penalty kick. I am mind blown that Jeff Gamble, as the VAR official, did not signal Ismail Elfath to take a look at the monitor to overturn this call. What I think happened is that Eryk Williamson actually is just trying to avoid contact. He doesn't want to get a hit to his knee. He's actually trying to maneuver out of the way, goes down, and then sees the referee point to the spot. Oh my gosh! This is nowhere near a pen.
Charlie, I think you're onto something here. I think Eryk Williamson is trying to avoid that contact. He sees the defender coming in and he thinks, you know what? He's not here yet, but I am not risking it coming off an injury. I am getting the heck out of the way because I'm not getting to this ball first. I don't think he's diving. I don't think he's necessarily trying to trick the referee, but in the end, that's what happens, and what's he gonna do? Then it's on the referee crew to get this one right, and I think it's pretty clear that one, the degree of contact is very small, if any, and two, it's not that contact that brings Williamson down. It's his own actions. Therefore, I'm absolutely in the same camp as you. Gamble should have flagged Elfath to go take a look at this, and I think if he does, he overturns it in a hot second. As I've tried to remind my mentions over and over and over again this weekend, it's been quite difficult. The majority of video review interventions actually correct calls that would have stood as clear and obvious errors in previous iterations of the game. VARs bring huge value to the competition, and here are two instances from the Orlando NYCFC match. 7th minute, Junior Urso scores a goal, but the flag goes up. Referee Chris Pinso says, no goal, that's offside, but VAR Caroline Chenard is checking the play, as VARs do for every single goal-scoring instance. She spots the fact that Urso is in fact even with the last defender for NYCFC, Anton Tinnerholm. Pinso goes to the board, The goal stands. This is the correct call. It's the right outcome. It's what we all want from video review. Applause, please. And applause again for Caroline Chenard for spotting in the 46th minute that this Antonio Carlos red card, which looked like a red card live to me, probably shouldn't be. In fact, she flags it as a clear and obvious error. Chris Pinto goes to the board and he says, okay, I was wrong. That's actually a yellow card, and I completely agree. Here's why. For serious foul play, it needs to be excessive force. Antonio Carlos does not leave his feet. He does not slide in at speed. He steps as he runs, and while it looks very, very painful, that's simply a yellow card, folks, not a red card, and the referee crew gets it right with the help of video review. All right, turn on the green strobe lights, everyone. We're going to Austin for Austin LAFC on Friday night. 30th minute, Eddie Segura only gets a yellow card for this one. There was some debate on the broadcast, Charlie, that maybe he should have got red, but I just don't see it.
No, not at all. This was the right call by Alex Chilowitz. It's a yellow card. Eddie Segura had his arm up, but he did not cock that elbow back to make contact with the face. You know violent conduct when you see it. This was not that. Good job refereeing from Alex Chilowitz here.
Agree, and then just 8 minutes later, we've got a mass confrontation in the corner, folks. Maxi Urruti and Jesus Murillo are steaming in. Murillo sees Urruti, look like he might come with the shoulder to shoulder or go chase the ball, and hey, they're in the field of play, and Murillo says, nah, I'm knocking you to the side. I don't see a foul there, Charlie. That is pretty standard from a central defender trying to impose himself. Urruti, though, he's not having it. Not happy with this at all. He goes over and steps on the foot. Now, Murillo goes down quite dramatically, and the whole thing pops off. First of all, should Murillo have seen a yellow card? And second, I remember Gaston Jimenez's step on Alejandro Bedoya, and we were saying, hey, that might be violent conduct. What do you think about that Urruti step?
I think Maxi Urruti flipped his switch. Murillo got into his head using the physical force, and out of reaction, out of frustration, he goes to do the stomp in a negative reaction to the contact. In my opinion, this could have easily been a red card, but I am okay with the yellow card in this instance because it wasn't crazy force, and the acting from Murillo, that played into it.
I agree with you, Charlie. To me, this is not a red card for violent conduct, and it comes down to force. Was it excessive force? Was it brutality? I don't think so. Just like that Gaston Jimenez one, I understood why he wasn't suspended after the fact, and I understand why the referee crew didn't give Urruti a red card in this situation. One more from that Austin LAFC game. Chicho Arango down 4-1 wants a penalty in the 71st. There is a pull here by Gabrielson. What do you think? Should that have been called?
There is a pull, but not enough. It's almost as if Gabrielson knows exactly how much he can get away with before causing a penalty. So in my opinion, this is tactically smart defending, taking as much as you can get without crossing the line.
Had this been called a penalty on the field, there is no way it is being overturned because there is that contact and that little tug from the Austin defender. Lucky boy, he lived on the margins and walked away to tell the tale. All right, we'll send you out of here with a couple red cards. It's sort of like, hey, do you want to see a red card? Because Alejandro Pozuelo is cleating people in the chest and Lucas Cavallini is stepping on heads. Folks, these are clear and obvious instances of serious foul play in Pozuelo's case and violent conduct in Cavallini's. Just take a look. When you see this, know the old Rojo is coming out. That's it for us. If you see something, say something. Our Twitter handles are on the screen below. For our producer and editor extraordinaire, Phil Levanco, Charlie Davies, I'm Andrew Wiebe. We'll see you next time.